The tragic destruction of designers' mental health. Seen when Takeoff passed away that he felt some type of weight and he was crying and stuff like that on live. I don't feel like that's something that should have been on live. He should have just, you know, said his little whatevers and kept it pushing. I can't tell nobody how to grieve. That's what I do know. I can't tell nobody how to grieve, but you know what I'm saying? It's like you saying you quit rap. You haven't released in a long time. And Designer is somebody that I would actually like to see, flourish and make like comeback because I feel like he was off to a great start. He basically he said he dropped Panda with no effort, and then he had Timmy Turner, and then I think he had a song with Kanye West or something like that, or somebody a little bit after that. And I feel like he could have kept going, but he didn't. I heard it was because of something to do with his father being in the hospital. I don't know how true that is, but the only way we can find out is by getting straight into this video.
This version of me is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. That's a Takeoff, bro.
Desiigner has been in the game for over 6 years now, with one of the biggest accomplishments that any music artist could ever achieve. A diamond plaque with a solo song.
Damn, 10
And
million.
according
Okay.
to his Instagram profile, it's 2 times diamond. I'm not sure if that's true, but if you look at the RIAA certifications, it was 6 or 7 times platinum in 2017, and that's 5 years ago. This is both Designer's biggest accomplishment and his biggest setback in the eyes of the fans. He's seen as a one-hit wonder, although the truth is he's had a minimum of 2 hits, including Timmy Turner. But the past several months have been filled with not only career struggles for Desiigner, but also personal, losing 2 close friends in the industry, PNB Rock and Takeoff of the Migos, and we've seen him fall out of character deeply.
Here you go.
Designer's ride was meteoric. It was like he always had this positive energy around him. Never a dull moment. Someone who you could see the smile and gratitude of success every moment, and it was infectious. But things weren't always this way for a young Designer. He grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, in the Louis Armstrong Project housing complex, a dangerous neighborhood down the block from Jay-Z's Marcy Projects. Designer's grandfather was actually a prominent blues guitarist and singer by the name Sidney Selby and went by Guitar Crusher, who spent many years performing and living in Berlin, Germany, even marrying a German woman. While hustling and growing up as a young teenager in his housing project, Desiigner would start rapping at age 14, the same age he got shot.
Today,
I ain't gonna lie, like I was a bad kid. I was a hard head. I was in the streets doing dumb shit. You know the average stupid shit. You feel me? I got hit in my hip, right here.
wow.
There, right there, in my hip. And it just was like, it was a little bit of blood, and that little bit of blood, I wasn't no serious in and out. I was in the hospital 10 minutes, 30 minutes, you feel me? But it was just that moment that really said, yo, mind your business.
Right.
When that happened to me, it just was like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. You feel me? I always had a voice in my head that said, don't do the bad. To see my moms and hear my moms pass out at work, it wasn't pleasant.
Desiigner became the go-to in his neighborhood for anyone who wanted to do some music. He ended up going to Thomas Jefferson High School in Brooklyn with a new mentality of networking, doing features, making music with others. And he was always tried to uplift those around him, especially his friends. After releasing Zombie Walk on December 3rd of 2015, he would release Panda less than 2 weeks later, and this would be the song to change his life forever. It would grow on SoundCloud before being re-released officially in February of 2016 when he signed to Kanye West.
Yeah, then Kanye West do something.
When interviewed on Genius talking about his first song, Zombie Walk, that would end up getting more attention after Panda, he elaborated on who it was dedicated to and the story behind it.
Now this song is for my man Savage, who's disabled. You feel me? He's crippled. He handicapped. So people used to make fun of his walk. But I said, nah, that's the zombie walk. We're going to change it for you. So it's all just a shout out to my man Savage. And you feel me? Just making, you feel me, his style, or his way of life, you feel me? A wave and make it the zombie walk.
A wholesome story of Desiigner trying to spin something people clowned his friend with into a positive and having him as a feature on the song. Desiigner would be at the legendary release party in Madison Square Garden at age 17 for Kanye's The Life of Pablo, with his song being used on the track Part 2. Everything was amazing. He was performing everywhere. at one concert, throwing up but still continuing to perform right after that.
Nah, he's wild.
Appearances, and more. But this is the first time we also got some controversy surrounding Desiigner due to his sound being very similar, nearly identical, to Future, who had just gone on his mixtape run in 2015. It didn't seem to bother Desiigner all too much because he was on a high. He had the #1 song in the country, something that Future had never accomplished at that point. But after a couple of months, people began wondering if Desiigner was just Panda, and if he would follow it up with anything else. That's when the 2016 XXL freshman class came in, and it shocked people. While delivering the individual freestyle, Desiigner would sound nothing like Future, Panda, or Zombie Walk.
Timmy, time. People wishing for a burner. The key lay by you walking. You know that it's on the.
He stole the show with an a cappella freestyle and sent the social media world into a frenzy. This was viral, and everybody wanted the full song released, and if it wasn't already a song, they wanted it turned into a song. He also released his first mixtape, New English, a couple of days after the Timmy Turner freestyle, which was, I would say, a disaster of a release. With the majority of the songs sounding unfinished, some less than a minute. I think it was Monsters and Villains, that was 37 seconds. That should have gone for way longer. And no real direction or structure. The official Timmy Turner song would be released a month later, peaking at number 34 on the Hot 100. A lot of the hype had fizzled out for the song, but the song also changed the energy from the first freestyle. It had a darker undertone to it that some like more and some like less, but I would still consider it a hit. Just look at the numbers. Unfortunately for Desiigner, he would get arrested that September on drugs, weapons, and menacing charges for a road rage incident, which he describes as just throwing his hands up, and the guy who had swerved in the lane at night in front of them must have thought it was a gun and reported it. They were in jail for 3 days before bonding out, and Desiigner recalls people in jail calling him Panda in a cage. It would come out that the drugs were not Desiigner's, they were steroids that belonged to his driver/security.
Oh,
Desiigner
nah.
would still be riding on the heat of his two hot songs, doing shows, worldwide. But this was also the time when he would cool off a little bit, and a weird time for good music as a whole. He felt disconnected from Kanye more, and left on his own. He was supposed to have a project release with PNB Rock.
They say good music. I did a video on that, so if y'all didn't watch that video, go watch that video about the sad death of good music. Basically, like, Kanye wasn't able to manage artists because he was still doing his thing. He wasn't able to pull up, to the studio sessions, I guess, to hear their music. He was saying he didn't have time for it. And that's why, me personally, I think, like, if you're an artist, don't really try to sign artists unless you're, like, close to bowing out of the game. That's just my opinion.
Up releasing, and the next single he put out was Outlet, which had a sponsorship and was a great song, but didn't hit how people who heard the song felt it should have. I mean, this should have been everywhere in the sports world at least. And I'm on the same page with the people that feel like it didn't hit as well as it should have. During this time period of late 2017 to 2018, it wasn't so hot for Desiigner. He was beginning to cool off in the general hip-hop sphere. He wasn't getting much support from Kanye or Good, not much label push, and he speaks about it in an interview, feeling taken advantage of.
Didn't learn anything from this position, you know what I mean? I just was there. It was more like, Desiigner, you give me music, I jump on it, and when I need my situation done, nobody's there to answer for it, you know what I mean? It was just like, what the f-? Even down with New English, like, nobody else promoted that shit off the camp. Good thing Desiigner was big, you feel me?
Yeah.
But
wait,
like,
no one did? Like no one at all?
I had pushing and shit, you know what I mean? But like, for the whole team to be like a genuine embracing of me, like, yeah, it was just like, for me, it was what it was. And that's why I was just like, yo, it was weird because it was like, yo, bro, all right, I'm the new energy, but I feel like nobody really wanted to give me that, like, yo,
I push.
for me, that real big love, like that knowledge that I really needed. Because I'm not a kid that asks for money. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck for the money. Like, my deal, I didn't even sign my deal for crazy bread. Like, you feel me? Like, I signed my deal for a pound cake. For me, had like 5.
He had good reason to feel this way. Sure, Ye definitely helped Panda elevate to mainstream success by putting it on his platform, as well as even featuring on.
But he was trying to say he signed for 500,000 or something like that.
remix to Timmy Turner, which is one of those lesser known facts for how big of a deal that was. But Desiigner probably expected to be a part of a team, especially how he grew up seeing good music. But it felt like he just got used for his song, and when that was done, he was disposed of and just left on an island to fend for himself. He recalls his time with Ye and wanting to learn a lot, but not feeling welcome.
Shit like that. Like, I wasn't really in it for the bread, bro. I was really in it for the knowledge. I wanted to be around Kanye West to
Okay,
learn, you know what I mean, and know certain
that's
things. And,
different.
you know what I mean?
That's different because a lot of people don't say that. A lot of people just looking like, nah, I want the bread. You know what I'm saying? And that's good too. But then in the long run, you see the bread is not really what, you know what I'm saying, gives you that longevity. The bread is something that's gonna go quick, just as you get it.
To help me get prepared for this, especially coming out of 10th grade. It wasn't about none of that other shit, you feel me? My pops wound up catching heart attacks and my birthday going past. I'm like, this nigga not even telling me happy birthday. Like, it's little shit like that. And then I was just like, nah, bro, I can't be around a brother like this, you feel me? Like, you know what I mean? So I just like, yo, let me just move on. Because it was like I couldn't express myself the way I like what was going on in my crib to my label mates. And maybe I should never try to like run like my emotion in the game. But it was just something like I would just like, I was young.
And that's something that I'm gonna tell everybody. When it comes to business, do not bring your emotions in it too much, because when you bring your emotions in it, you start to like overthink and be like, yo, everybody's doing everything intentionally. When you think too much with emotion, you know what I'm saying, you start to think that, oh, this person knows what's going on and they doing things intentionally. Sometimes it don't even be that. Sometimes it do, but a lot of times it don't be like that.
never was taught not to keep your emotions out the game because I was coming from a place where not too many people made it, bro.
Keep in mind, Desiigner was just in high school getting into this game. And the way he reminisces on it lets you know he just wanted a big brother or elder figure in this industry game to let him know what to do, what not to do. He admitted he was very nervous.
I'm gonna say this: Desiigner, he was looking for the right thing. He wasn't wrong. But I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of older like hip hop people that's like now the greats and all, they not gonna give the game for the simple fact they ain't get the game, so they figure like, nah, you ain't getting nothing from me. You gonna learn it on your own, or you gonna go through these bad contracts and all that on your own. And sometimes it be for the simple fact that a lot of these people are now in partnerships with each other. So of course they're gonna sign to the bad deals. They're gonna not give you game and all that because they don't benefit from it. That's why a lot of people that's like rappers like NBA Youngboy and Kodak dislike Master P because he try to make them pay for game and they be looking like how's, you know what I'm saying? And I spoke with a lot of people about this, and I say like when it comes to Master P charging for game, charging somebody like NBA Youngboy and Kodak, you shouldn't do, for the simple fact that I get, you know what I'm saying, time is money, but at the same time, you could use them as connects, you know what I'm saying? One hand wash the other, you know what I'm saying? Favor for a favor, especially with NBA Youngboy. Favor for a favor. I'm pretty sure NBA Youngboy got a lot of good connects, even though he's in a situation right now where like he's not liked by too many people, but pretty sure it'll still be beneficial. You had a conversation with him, so I'm pretty sure you seen some type of way to benefit from it. That's just my opinion though.
This in almost all of his early interviews, didn't know what to say and what not to say, and thought that signing to Ye was going to be that kind of relationship. But when he wasn't even able to get a hold of a guy whose label he signed to, it hurt him. While Desiigner had pretty much fallen off at this point in the USA and hip-hop wise, he got a huge look globally when Steve Aoki put him on a song that he remixed with K-pop superstar group BTS in late 2017 and took him on tour in 2018. While this
That's
was
dope.
great to open him up to a new audience, he was growing less and less relevant in hip-hop. So much so that when he was going to release his next project, LOD, Life of Desiigner, in May of 2018, it was 7 tracks and ended up debuting at number 161 on the weekly charts. Desiigner would pretty much go ghost for all of 2019. The only song he appeared on was a feature on electronic artist Dylan Francis' song Drip, and it was likely because he was sorting out his legal situation to leave good music and go independent. And that wish came true because in 2020 he became independent. But how is someone who came into the game at 17 with a smash hit song on a major label, one of the biggest hits in American music history, really, when we're talking diamond and up, and never really built a fan base before being signed. Supposed to know how to operate independently and build up a buzz as well as hype all over again after now having the expectations of hits and being labeled as fallen off. It's a big hurdle. Even worse that 2020 is when everything was locked down. He couldn't do shows. He released 3 songs that year and a mixtape, not doing too much noise outside of the people that followed him. And his grandfather, the musician, had passed away too. Same deal happened in 2021, and this likely began to get to Desiigner as it would anybody. You're 23, 24, still really young, but your peak is behind you, and you have no idea what to do next. Fortunately for Desiigner, he wasn't struggling financially. He definitely made many, many millions of dollars, and we didn't see him flexing expensive purchases as much as other artists. But there's still that drive and desire in most young men to want to progress, and Desiigner wasn't progressing in his career, numbers-wise. At the end of 2021, Desiigner would release a music video titled Letter to Ye, where he raps about his experience and appreciation for the opportunity Ye gave him over a J Dilla beat. And 2022 was a year of loss for Desiigner. We would first see a public outburst of frustration from him directed towards rapper ESTG.
Nigga, artists try to charge me $75,000. ESTG, bro. Yo, you're garbage. You is hot garbage. You can't perform like me. You can't never make a song like anybody in New York City. You're trash, bro. You're trash. You know what you are? That ass what I'm doing right now. You feel me? Stop playing with me. For real, for real. Y'all niggas ain't never saw what I saw. That's on my mother. Y'all niggas still trap your little gold records. Kick all them chains on your neck, boy. For real. Cause you a slave to the game.
The way I interpreted this was Desiigner felt insulted and disrespected. And I don't think this was directed at ESTG as much as it was directed at everyone who was clowning him and saying he fell off and he was irrelevant now. And disregarding, he accomplished one of the most impressive feats that someone can do commercially in music. Nobody really wanted to work with him like that. And the only rapper that publicly showed love to Desiigner since the lockdown and said he was working with him was PNB Rock. In a tweet saying, "My first session of 2021, and I'm doing it with my brother Willie Donut. I made my first platinum song with Gang, No Kizzy. Selfish off to a great start, at Life of Desiigner in a cut." PNB Rock was also somebody who nobody wanted to work with either after he had gone independent.
Yeah, and nobody cared until he passed away, and that's fucked up. That's fucked up. His manager was saying that, like, yo, a lot of people that worked with him before, like, they was leaving him on scene, leaving him on red, and those are the same people that was posting, oh, rest in peace, this and that. It's like, bro, there's nothing to do a quick song with somebody, bro. Stop thinking of the hype of it. Oh, it gotta be beneficial. Bro, you never know if the song could turn out to be a hit. The song could turn out to be a hit. Don't always think about it like, oh, well, they're not popping. Who's to say the song turns out to be a hit? Stop always thinking about it for the clout aspect of it.
Talk about how much they loved him when he passed away.
And they didn't.
The better question would be, if they were so close to him, how come they needed to post 4-year-old pictures with him on their RIP post when he was hot, instead of something more recent? Desiigner,
he was still cool with T Grizzly though. He was still cool with T Grizzly though. That's what I can say.
Would apologize for his statements to ESTG the next day.
Yes, sir. Y'all already know the vibes. Your boy Desiigner. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just leave it like that's that man Price. You know what I'm saying? Word, no disrespect to their camp over there. You know what I'm saying? They handling business over there.
He would lose his close friend PNB Rock on September 12th, 2022. He would just put up a photo of him as an RIP without a caption. But it was when Takeoff passed away in November that Desiigner would be on Instagram Live and completely break down.
I swear, why? Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we f***ing do this? I swear to God, it ain't nothing. I'm done rap. I'm done rap. Yo, you hearing to me? It's done. This version of me is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. I took Takeoff, bro. It's done.
The first time ever we
You
had
can't say
seen
dog.
Desiigner come out in public, not positively and not on some at least moderate energy, was his frustration with the ESTG feature. He never had issues with any other rapper. This is the second time, and it's him breaking down at the death of Takeoff, saying he was done with rap. These are first time occurrences in a 6-year span of a career, almost 7 now. This wasn't a pattern of behavior. Desiigner would pop back out when 21 Savage said he would beat anyone in his freshman class in the verses, to which Desiigner replied with this video clip.
2021 Savage, I killed everybody walking, put them all in the coffin, double XL floss and BT, how they watch it, BT, wallet for wallet, kill everybody walking, you know that it's on the finest.
No, this nigga did not just.
He would release a song on November 10th
Yeah,
titled
you're
Star
funny,
in the
you're
Room,
funny
with
guy
the
for
cover as a repurpose of the 2016 XXL cover, but with Kids Next Door characters, and face a lot of "we thought you quit rap" comments from fans. I think it's too much to go in on Desiigner for releasing music when he was in an emotional state at the tragic loss of a friend when he said he quits. I think he's fed up with how the game chewed him up and spit him out, judging by the rest of his ESTG call out that I'll play for you guys right now.
Real talk, son. Let me get this clear, bro. Because y'all consumers, man, are my friends, man. Let me make this shit #1 topic, you know what I mean? Y'all my friends. But y'all gotta really understand who you buying your product from. If you want your product from niggas that's really just buying change, selling you a fake ass dream, you feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of these artists, bro, is getting put in these rooms, bro. It's a lot of relationship deals. It's not even what you think it seemed to be, bro. It don't want to be that, bro. You get what I'm saying? I really be in the room with a lot of folks, man, and niggas be doing holding niggas down. So make sure y'all niggas really be fans of real performance artists, people that can really take the stage from United States to the middle of Japan, bro, to out Oanaka, bro. You know what I mean? Japan, bro. Military camps, bro, in Korea, bro. You think I'm saying? Let's take it down to Nairobi, bro. Let's take it to Kenya, bro.
Desiigner spit some real gems in this. There are a lot of bells and whistles at play that are put in front of fans to make it seem like someone is hot when they're really not. And they keep faking it until enough real people buy in. And now they're actually popular. I hope Desiigner is able to find some direction and success. Either it being a resurgence in music and a solid fan base, or even if it's in something else, whatever that may be. The truth is, the time for people who were cool with Desiigner that are still hot to reach out and at least lend not necessarily a helping hand musically, but just check in on him and make sure he's doing good, would be now with everything he's gone through. But the saddest part of this story is that the situation Desiigner is in right now is not much different than the one PNB Rock was in before he was tragically killed. Both independent, both had gotten out of a situation with a major label, didn't really know how to move independently. Both had had a couple of hits, had experience with everyone wanting to be around them and work with them when they were hot, but they had cooled off, weren't hot anymore for multiple different reasons, and now everyone that was around them and in their DMs when they were hot won't return calls, won't be seen with them, and forget having a feature done without a taxing price they would give the next man. I think it's just a lesson that people don't ever really learn their lesson. It's the same cycle of appreciate them when they can benefit you, forget about them when they can no longer benefit you, and appreciate them and wish you could have done things differently when they're gone.
Definitely what I feel like is he wasn't wrong. Like, let me know what y'all think about him wanting, to learn the game instead of just being a fiend for money. But I feel like he learned a lot of things too late, and it it pushed him into a bad space. But with that, it's like I feel like he could make a comeback. I feel like he could make a comeback. He still got a little bit of spotlight to make a comeback, and all he gotta really do is drop. It's not like he can't just drop. He's independent, so he could just drop and make his bread and do what he want. Ain't nobody gonna be able to tell him he can't drop or when he could do this or when he could do that. But let me know what y'all think about Desiigner and how people treated PNB Rock, like not wanting to give him features and trying to play like they was cool once he passed. I don't appreciate the fake love shit. I really don't. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for all the love and support. That being said, love is love, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.